Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another update overview for The Sims 4. This time it's for February 27th, 2024, aka the Crystal Creations pre-patch. And, well, there's some good news, but also some bad news. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First thing I want to talk about is that we have a new recipe, sort of. So when For Rent came out in December, some people complained about how one of the new dishes, nasi lemak, does not really look accurate at all to what it looks like in real life. So they listened and promised that they were going to change it, and now they have. So the old version of nasi lemak is now a separate recipe called coconut rice, and nasi lemak now looks like this. I think this actually looks better than a lot of the food in the game, so that's good. And we kind of got an extra recipe out of the deal too. However, there is one strange thing about this, because you can see there is some chicken being served alongside it, but when you hover over nasi lemak in the menu on the pressure cooker, it claims that it's vegetarian safe, so I don't understand what's going on there. There's one other addition, and it's a pretty annoying one. So now there's a shopping cart icon that appears in-game most of the time, whether you're in live mode, build, or create a sim. And it's about suggesting packs you may like. I can't fully show off what it looks like because I have all the packs already, so that's the message you get when you have them all, but I do not like this at all. It reminds me of how around, I believe it was the time of Sims 3 Supernatural, they added that button where it advertises stuff from the Sims 3 store in your game. So it's like you're sifting through buy mode and you're going into the chairs section, and not only does it show what you own, but it also sprinkles some that you don't own that are in the Sims 3 stores. Basically like a, hey, look at this thing you don't have, buy me now. So that's not good. But hey, at least with the Sims 3, you could turn that feature off. But in the Sims 4, there's no such thing. But there is more to this. It's not just the fact that this is more invasive compared to simply having a packs tab on the main menu that you have to click on anyways. I've seen a few comments that this may trigger sensory issues. The reason for this is because the shopping cart icon is supposed to pulsate until you hover over it. So how was I able to show the icon not pulsating in that previous footage? Well, in my game, for some reason, when I load up The Sims 4 and I go into my first household, it doesn't have that icon pulsating. But then after that, every single time I switch to another household, that icon will start pulsating. And even later on, when I switch back to the initial household, it happened again. A comment I received from Uni Insight says, I have astigmatism and I'm very sensitive to animations like that. I definitely won't be able to play the game comfortably with it in the background. Another example from Michaela on Spinning Blumbob's post is that I'm already sure the pulsing is going to make me dizzy. I really struggle with motion sickness from such things. Hopefully they address this pretty swiftly in a hotfix, whether it be an option that you could toggle in the options menu with a warning and this being disabled by default, or just simply removing that whole thing from the game entirely. Now with those additions out of the way, let's talk about the bug fixes. So for base game, Sims should now indicate if there is something in the way that prevents them from finishing cooking a meal. Reward traits obtained through the reward store will no longer be allowed to be purchased multiple times. Some scenario tooltips have been updated for clarity. The stabbed a friend in the back moodlet text has been updated for grammar clarity. I didn't know that was an issue in the first place. And then we have a critical fix for mod creators. I don't fully understand what this means, but it appears that this is a really major change that has broken many script mods, so if you use mods, keep an eye out for your favorite mod creators updating their stuff, because there's probably going to be quite a bit of that in the near future. Moving on to console, we have a couple of things. Toggling wall tile placement types is once again possible on controllers, and addressed a crash on Xbox with stability improvements. For the gallery server, reported comments should no longer reappear after restarting the Sims 4 client. Tweaked settings on the profanity filter checks to address your false positive reports. If you continue to experience issues while sharing to the gallery, please report to us through the short survey. For cats and dogs, we've updated the descriptions of a few breeds of cats and dogs. With seasons, they fixed a couple of major issues, like how with some Sims were being completely locked out of holiday traditions when a holiday would roll around, and Sims can now fish in cold, windy, and cloudy, windy weather conditions again. With Get Famous, they also fixed a major issue where now we can safely use the game setting to opt out of fame without having any impact on NPC Sims spawning in to visit community lots, like mixologists for bars. With Eco Lifestyle, fridges using ice that are off the grid will no longer drain power. Now here's another really crucial section for rent. Rental incomes. Additional information has been added on several relevant UI screens to more clearly communicate how rent for all owned units will be collected by the end of the week, along with any taxes or bills due. Fixes for save error 403 and a bunch of letters and numbers after that. Some combined fixes aim to resolve current saves and prevent this error from happening on future saves. Fixed references to zones in Business Manager that no longer exist in the game data, which triggered the failure to save exception when attempting to save on what previously was a residential rental lot. And there's the Nasi Lemak fix that I already talked about earlier. You should no longer experience situations where you can get stuck on residential rental lot types. This includes error code 102/122, which should no longer occur on load. Tamarang world map screen will load without last exception errors. T-Lin's secret text message should be a bit easier to read now. Sims can now successfully complete the Socialize with Close Sims wand after interacting with family and friends. What I was most concerned about before this patch's release was whether those save errors would actually be fixed, and according to Krenrick, things have gotten much better. So they said that they tested a few broken saves they had with error codes, and they do all seem fixed, but still got an endless loading screen on one save, but saw improvement on another, though it's possible they tested the wrong save as they have multiple save states on that one. So that's a huge relief. That's enough to make me feel safer in playing the game again outside of Create a Sim, because I know I did have that infinite loading screen issue I talked about in previous videos, but that was only with the police station and only with a specific lot I downloaded from the gallery, so I got rid of that lot and I fixed it now, so hopefully I won't have that again. Plus, I very well could have had that issue long before For Rent was a thing, but I don't play with the detective career very often. Moving on to Dream Home Decorator, Sims will no longer be stuck on clients' lots after completing a home decorator gig. Home Chef Hustle. Sims were just a little overexcited by the prepped ingredients, eating them straight out of the fridge. A lot. Sims will no longer autonomously eat prepped ingredients when eating leftovers. Okay, that is a pretty good fix. It was getting a little too hot in the kitchen. We've tuned the frequency of fires that will start when cooking with the Ciao Bella portable pizza oven and Ciao Bella heart waffle maker. Yep, that's another one I heard about quite a lot. Plain waffles are totally vegetarian. Sims will no longer gain the violating principles moodlet after indulging in some waffly goodness. Or goddess? I actually read it as goodness, but yeah, oh well. The market magnates and appliance whiz aspirations now count towards the overachiever achievement. Sims who struggle to make batter, dough, and lactose-free batter in the stand mixer will now play the appropriate animation. And lastly, Goth Galore. Your eyes did not deceive you. The Goth hoodie in this kit will no longer enlarge the eyes of your female Sims while worn. Not to worry, the change in eye size was not permanent. Your Sims' eyes will return to their normal size with this update. I did a quick test on that, and yes, I can say this one truly is fixed, so that is good. A little baffling still how that even happened in the first place, but it's good we don't have to worry about that anymore. One last thing is that this update has introduced at least one other major issue, and I'll link to a short blog post by Krenricht about it, but this is what it says right now, that the social pie menu does not appear when clicking on another sim, or on the active sim. The cause is still unclear, but it has nothing to do with mods, and this issue only occurs on certain sims, not all of them. But Maxis is aware of the issue and working on a solution. I tested a few of my different households and they're all working fine, so that is really confusing. I'm not sure why this would happen, but hopefully this is another thing that they can fix sooner rather than later, especially because socializing is a pretty big part of the game. And that's pretty much it. So on one hand, they did fix some pretty major issues, and I feel safe enough in playing my game again, but some nasty new issues with it that really need to be fixed as soon as possible. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on this patch in the comment section below, and I'll have a link to the patch notes as well as Krenricht's blog in the video description. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content. I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching.